And we are live. We are live. So I'm just going to wait for the stream to go on YouTube so that I can confirm that the bubble going around my head is indeed sound transmission and that you are hearing my voice clearly, ladies and gentlemen, that you are hearing my voice clearly. We are live. And I heard it. So I know that we are good. So, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to Aaron B in the house. Okay, and shout out to Brandon. Brandon and Aaron B says Ike DeMarco. Aaron B. Aaron B. Aaron B gets a wrench, of course. I've been slacking. I just gave you a wrench, I believe. So, today we're going to be talking about streams of income. But before we get into it, we'll do a short preamble as people come in, and then we'll play our theme song, Battle Within. Battle Within, Soul Rising song, an original of mine, written by myself and David Gomez, the guitar player. It's a perfect theme for our channel, yours and mine, where we talk about mastery of ourselves, mastery of the beast, mastery of the feelings, the images, the talk, the construct, the environment, mastery of the machinery. And today we're going to be talking about streams of income, and we're going to be talking a bit about it through the lens of a particular dichotomy, which is versatility on the one hand and efficiency on the other hand. Now, versatility and efficiency, you may not necessarily think of as opposites. Well, they're not opposites, but they can be split into a dichotomy in the sense that you can maximize or you can optimize one when you're going for efficiency. You're going to sacrifice versatility. And when you're going for versatility, you sacrifice efficiency. As Thomas Sowell said, in life, there are no solutions, there are only trade offs. Okay? Shout out to McGarvey in the house. All right. Thank you guys very much for showing up, joining here this Saturday morning. So, again, let's get into it. Quick preamble, and then the theme song, and then we'll get right into the topic. We'll start scribbling things. We'll start arguing back and forth. Is it real? Is it not? Okay. But we're talking about streams of income. We're going to trace a particular path, one possible way in which one can begin to acquire streams of income. Streams with emphasis on the S, plural, because it is required in this modern times in 2020. Not only is the infrastructure available and the technology is such that one can take advantage of multiple streams of income, but the financial system and the economy is also such that you actually have to. In other words, you need multiple streams of income. You need more money than you think you do. Whatever amount of money you think you need, or whatever you feel comfortable getting, trust me, you actually need more. And you can go ahead and do a little bit of soul searching or looking into the economy and how it has changed in the last 50 years in order for us to just agree on that rather simply. So, multiple streams of income, but we're going to talk about it through the lens of these three words: versatility, efficiency, and how they intersect with fragility. Okay? We have a main dichotomy, which is versatility on one hand and efficiency on the other hand. If you optimize for efficiency, you're going to trade off some versatility. You optimize for versatility, you're going to trade off on some efficiency. And these two things have a relationship with a third term called fragility. And we're going to be talking about that. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much as you come into the chat. Okay, thank you very much as you. Yes. M. Garvey. That's a sharp suit, my man, looking clean. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And I will drop the Cash App as I play the song. Okay, and get my act together here. We will, trust me, you will be seeing. Okay, So let's see here. Manners. Battle within. Enjoy.
On the shore, relentless in the war, the legions in our hearts, shed waters in our balls, the spirit and the flesh, the emotions that arrest, the cerebral will contest, propelling the unrest. Preachers and bandits with means underhanded, the teachers pedantic and lack understanding. So sweep out the sand with the broom in your hand, stand up, make we burn Babylon. Guess I can give the world to you, but the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demon searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. Cause I can give the world to you, but the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demon searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. With the semblance of a blaze, with gratitude and rage, we touch another page with delirious delight, impervious to light. This vitality and might encourages the flight. Preachers and bandits with means underhanded, the teachers pedantic and lack understanding. So sweep out the sand with the broom in your hand. Stand up, make we burn Babylon. Cause I can give the world to you, but the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demon searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. Cause I can give the world to you, but the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demon searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. But the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demon searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. Cause I can give the world to you, but the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demon searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into this. In the description to this video, it says versatility and efficiency are often inversely correlated. We will explore that. Okay? And then we say, in a short sentence right after that, we say, efficiency is fragile. And then we move on. And we say, how do these concepts relate to streams of income and so on and so forth? So today, there are kind of two parts to this one conversation we're going to have. Okay, there are two parts to the one conversation. In one part, we're going to be talking about this juxtaposition between efficiency and versatility and how they relate to fragility, because it's a very important thing, cuts across many different systems in life, whether you're talking about streams of income, or you're talking about your health and wellness, or you're talking about political economy and things like that. The idea of versatility versus efficiency, and also the trade-off that one makes between those two and how they relate to efficiency, how they relate to fragility is key. Versatility, efficiency, how it relates to fragility. So the other part of it is the streams of income. Streams of income, we're going to talk about using this framework that we create, and we shall begin to create the framework presently. So basically, on the one hand, I say, okay, there is this thing called versatility. All right. Is it I think it's versatile. I'm a horrible speller. Versatile versus, yeah, let's put a versus there. Let's make it a hard contrast, versus efficient, okay? And then we're going to write a few words on either side of this in order to flesh out our intuitions about the various domains in which this seeming dichotomy manifests itself. And then out of this will emerge a relationship between these concepts and fragility. Jesse, shout out to Jesse and shout out to Nicer in the house. Nicer, you already know and you already see the links. Okay. Shout out to K Coaching. All right. Please subscribe to K Coaching and his related channels. K Coaching LLC. He is the resident LLC preacher. He tells you start your LLC. That should be your your catch phrase. Anyways, so versatility. Versatility, first word that comes to mind is adapt, right? So if we're talking about versatility, we're talking about something that can adapt to different environments, different environmental constraints, and also can perform perform different sets of tasks under different conditions. So using general terms, but let's talk about a versatile dancer, for example. He can dance with his hands, he can dance with his feet, he can dance on ice, he can dance in the mud, he can dance barefoot or with shoes on a slick surface. So that'd be a versatile dancer. They can adapt, right? A versatile tool, a versatile sports player, a versatile footballer or soccer player can play different positions. He's good at this and he's good at that. There is a adaptive quality to it, but there's also a redundancy to it, okay? So there is a jack of all trades, okay? And we know the rest of this statement, right? Jack of all trades, master of none, okay? So yes, you can dance many different ways, but are you as good at any particular dance as the person who only practiced one particular dance? No. Okay. So you're going to be a jack of all trades, master of none, not very efficient in any particular time, but over time, okay, versatility tends to win out because over time you'll be able to deal with all the randomness, right? The randomness, the entropy, the chaos, the change in the environment, the change of circumstances, so on and so forth. Maybe you never really quite get to dance on ice that often, but when it comes time to dance on ice, you'll be ready to dance on ice, right, Mr. Versatile Dancer? But so again, adapting and redundancy. And now let's draw a little stool in order to kind of make this thing kind of clear. A stool that has 8 legs, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to draw these legs down like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? 8-legged stool. Okay. To emphasize the point of redundancy when it comes to versatility. Because it may not be so clear why is being able to dance in many different ways or play many different positions, why is it redundant? It's redundant in the sense that, well, perhaps you only just need to specialize in one thing, one dance, or one particular position, or this stool only needs to have 3 legs and you will be making the maximal use of your energy and your time. Efficiency is about minimizing waste. Formally defined in mechanical systems, it's the amount of useful work getting done versus the total energy in the system. So if I'm putting 100 units of energy into a particular system, I'm getting 80 units of energy out in terms of work being done out. 100 units of electricity, yet let's say, and 80 units worth of work in terms of cement bags being pushed on a conveyor belt done. Then I have 80% efficiency. So efficiency basically it's about minimizing waste. Okay. Over here, we're talking about adapt and redundant. Okay. Over here, we're talking about why do you have 8 legs? Let's just use 3 legs. But the guy that has 8 legs over here, it is versatile. It can take weight in the different legs. If you knock out one of the legs, okay, it'll redistribute to the other legs, okay? Just like you put a versatile player in a different kind of a position, and he will be able to play, he will adjust, he will adapt. Again, versatile, redundant, adjust, adapt. But you got 5 extra legs on your stool, okay? Over here, and this is where the third term comes in, the third term is fragile. Okay? Over here, we can already begin to see, how these two things relate with this concept of fragility. Okay? How do these two things relate with the concept of fragility? You already begin to see it, okay? Efficiency is more fragile. Okay? You knock out one leg off this stool and it is done. It is not wasting any material, it is focused, it does one thing very well, very efficiently, minimal waste, economical, as some people would say. But it is very fragile. It does not want randomness, okay? It does not want disorder, okay? It is allergic to randomness. It wants to stay in its lane. It wants to play its particular position. It does not want randomness. Okay? So, and this is something that may be obvious already, but generally speaking, this is a dichotomy to watch out for. In other words, in whatever it is you're doing, you always need to understand the trade offs because that's what life is all about. There is no free lunch, you can't have it all that kind of stuff, which is obvious, right? Yes, it's obvious to say, but you need to watch for these kinds of dichotomies and trade offs in everything that you do. One very important dichotomy and set of trade offs is in the versatility versus efficiency domain, whereby you optimize for one and you're gonna be losing. Maybe losing is not the right word, but you can't optimize for both at the same time. You cannot be maximally versatile and can play the center field and the midfield and the this and the that and dance away, dance, and also still be efficient. No, there is a lot of wasted energy and there's a lot of wasted storage space for you to store all these different kinds of things, while the most efficient thing just has only the 3 legs, let's say using the stool analogy, but it is fragile. And that's how this third term comes in. And they kind of form this little triangular dance, which we'll get into a little bit further. And then we'll talk about streams of income, a particular path to take in streams of income, and how it'll relate to the concept of versatility, efficiency, and fragility. And that's why I said it's kind of like a two-part talk. We're introducing a conceptual construct here with this dichotomy. Okay? I'm saying trade-offs, dichotomy, you can't optimize for both. And then we're going to be talking about streams of income, a particular path, and we'll talk about how it relates to this dichotomy and the term fragility. Are we making sense so far? Is the hypothesis clear today? It might be a convoluted one, but the streams of income is just going to be a conversation which is had through this prism, but this prism is the first part of our talk. In other words, this dichotomy, let me get a 1 in the chat again if I'm not talking out of my a-hole. versatility versus efficiency and how it relates to fragility. And then we'll talk about streams of income, a particular path, and how you go down that path, and always constantly watching for which thing you're optimizing on. Are you optimizing for efficiency? Are you optimizing for versatility? How is that related to the fragility aspect? Okay. What is your level of exposure in this particular case? And how do you address that? Okay. So basically now we're going to talk about something that is quite not so intuitive or quite different from it's a new word. It's called anti okay anti-fragility. And I'm going to explain that in a second, but shout out to Nassim Nicholas Taleb, the author of the book Anti-Fragility. He also wrote The Black Swan. You guys look into him. I will also be doing a review of either The Black Swan or Anti-Fragility in my What Ike Reads series. So watch out for that. That is coming up. But anti-fragility, what is it? Let's talk about it. Okay, if you're shipping a box and the box is fragile, okay, it's filled with champagne flutes, all right, we know what that is. That is over here. It does not want randomness. It does not want disorder. When you see this sign on a box that is being shipped, okay, the shipper knows, all right, this is the shipper in the ocean. Excellent. Good stuff. They know not to introduce randomness. They know not to introduce disorder, not to shake it up. This is fragile. Okay. If this is, let's say, positive fragility, and here's the zero line, over here on the zero line is what we call robust. Okay. You're moving some steel bars. You know, you got some steel bars. The steel bars don't care about the disorder. Okay. The steel bars do not care about the disorder. Michael Graham, shout out. Shout out to King Will Says in the house. Salute. Check him out, of course. Subscribe, like, share. Check it out. Check out the series, The Therapy of a Black Man on King Will Says channel. Now, in the middle here is what I'm saying is robust, okay? This is fragile. We know what it is, okay? In the middle is robust, which is what we tend to think as the opposite of fragile, but it's not actually the opposite of fragile. Robust just means it doesn't care about disorder. You can leave it still, or you can shake it around. It doesn't matter. But there is something over here that actually wants you to shake it around. This is what anti-fragile is. And then we will talk, okay, about examples of this anti-fragile thing, because you're thinking like, there are things that want disorder. I mean, I get that these champagne flutes don't want disorder, and I get that there are things that don't care. We call them robust. They're tough. They last. They don't care whether there's disorder or not. But are there things that actually want disorder? Yes, you want disorder. Okay, all life. Whoa, what are you talking about, bro? Okay, your muscles want disorder. Your muscles don't want serene conditions, otherwise they'll atrophy. Neither does your psyche want it, neither does your skill set want it, neither does your bones want it, neither does your immune system want it. All these things, muscles, immune systems, they all thrive on a little bit of disorder and chaos from the environment so that they can adapt, learn, form redundancies, and so on and so forth. An ecosystem, generally speaking, okay, an ecosystem is anti-fragile, means if you don't shake it up, it'll die. It's a use it or lose it world over here, okay? Use it or lose it. Let me get a one in the chat if this concept of anti-fragility is coming into focus with the use of these terms like use it or lose it. Your muscles will atrophy if you don't work them out. Your psyche will go to crap if you don't constantly keep it active. Your skills will also go to crap. entropy, so on and so forth, and that all life acts this way. Your immune system wants to be attacked, okay, in order for it to be useful at all. In other words, if it is in a dormant state, a state of serenity, it actually is a bad thing for these systems, which we're calling anti-fragile. Are we familiar with these systems? I say yes. I say you are such a system. Experience and some crazy stuff and some heartache along the way. That's what leads to an interesting life and some wisdom. It's the what doesn't kill you makes you stronger aspect. And it doesn't mean, look, these kinds of systems cannot stand to be in a dormant, unperturbed situation with no randomness. Okay? And these kinds of systems also coincide with the term versatility. We talked about adapt over here. Adapt, ecosystems, and adaptation. Because you can look at an ecosystem as just one huge organism. And just like our organisms need to be attacked and influenced by the environment, we need stressors from the environment. Our muscles need stressors. Our bones need stressing from the environment. Our minds need tasking. Our psyches need challenging. We need challenges in life in order for the thing to actually work well. We cannot actually chill. When we chill, we die. Okay. We're not like a ton of bricks. Okay. Whereby we're fine either way. If a ton of brick chills, it's cool. If a ton of brick gets into randomness, it's also cool. These are things that we call robust. Over here on the fragile end, they don't want randomness. So you keep them pristine. We are neither here nor are we robust because what we want actually is disorder. In other words, we may or may not be robust, but it's different from the idea that we actually want. We have over here the anti of fragility, where we want to be shaken up. We want our psyche challenged. We want our muscles stressed, our bones stressed, everything stressed, because that actually makes it strong. Distributed and complex systems tend to be that way. Hence, I mentioned adapt because I'm going into the ecosystem, which is a distributed and complex system similar to the economy, depending on how you arrange the economy and so on and so forth. But these things adapt because there's a lot of information being distributed through each different organism. Okay. This side of things tend to be decentralized. Okay. In other words, you have a system or decentralized, my bad. This is a decentralized system. So think about the United States or like the marketplace ideals now. Okay. You think about the states in Oregon, for example, you have all drugs legal, just recently passed, right? And then you can go down to Arizona and it's a totally different environment. You can't do anything. That kind of a system where it's decentralized. There's a lot of experiments going on everywhere, and it is not very efficient, but it is more adaptive because it's got different people doing different things. Different people doing different things, trial and error, a lot of information, swimming around in the pool and in the milieu is this area of versatility. Versatility tends to coincide, not 100%, with the concept of anti-fragility. You want to look for things for areas in which you can be versatile and also then gain from some disorder. And we'll talk about that once we go into the streams of income now, okay? We're setting up again in this two-part deal. We're setting up this triad. We're setting up the idea that there is such a thing as versatility, which can be optimized for in any particular system. And there is such a thing as efficiency, something we generally are also looking for and trying to optimize in a system. And that, you cannot eat your cake and have it, that they tend to be opposed to each other. Okay. And that, this three-legged guy here is efficient, minimal waste, and so on and so forth. But this guy with 8 legs can adapt. Yes, it has redundancy. It is synonymous with things that are more decentralized, okay? And that these kinds of things actually like disorder. But over here, you have minimal waste, but you have a lot of fragility, all right? The minimal waste part speaks for itself. In other words, the efficiency route, even though it seems to have all kinds of disadvantages, resources or time, which is the ultimate resource, and every other derivative resource of that from that, right? Everything starts with time. But this is the thing. That's why efficiency, even though it has all these disadvantages having to do with fragility, from a resource standpoint, this is it, right? However, it leaves you fragile. Questions such as how exposed am I and how do I need to buffer myself with versatility in order to shelter certain aspects of efficiency in particular areas or particular spans of time, such that I can run my efficiency game without getting hurt by its fragility induction, if you will. It being tied with fragility. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you guys for showing up today. We got Ace Breezy in the house, aka Wes in the house. Jesse's still in the house. Shout out to Nicer as usual. And don't forget to hit up the Cash App, ladies and gentlemen. Now, since we have fleshed out, I think, rather sufficiently, at least at this point, this particular triad that we were trying to elucidate and make clear, let's talk about a particular thing: streams of income. Okay? Streams of income. And let's talk about the first job first. Okay? First job or career or just one job, one stream. And let's talk about how one stream is related to versatility versus efficiency and so on and so forth. And certain things that we can say about it. Okay? So obviously, there is one stream of income called a steady job. You could have a steady job. Maybe you're the guy with the steady job and your brother-in-law runs a cab company. A cab company, okay? The unsteady job, a business. So over here we have unsteady job, on here we have steady job, good steady job with a paycheck where the money, if this is a money time graph, the money is just steady. It's a straight horizontal line on your money time graph. Okay? And then you got unsteady job. Okay? And you have things going up and down. Let's just say that these two guys, okay, in order to make it clear, okay, they're both like they're both, paying themselves gross. This guy's getting a payment, right, for a paycheck of, $200,000. This guy is also paying himself, right, as the CEO of the business, $200,000. The business has other expenses and so on and so forth, right? But these two guys are netting $200,000 to keep things equal and just to compare the aspect of randomness, okay, changes versus steadiness vis-a-vis versatility, efficiency, and fragility, okay? Now, let me ask a question. Who is more fragile? Who is more fragile? Well, let's talk about it. You can look at this guy's income and you say, you know what? Things are always changing with you, man. There is a season when it's wine country and everybody is moving around there and going to Temecula and these different places and drinking wine, and your limo business is doing great that time. But then it gets cold, and or people don't no longer go to the airport. There's airport season, there's this and that. There's always changes in your income. There's a particular quarter when you make 75% of your income every time, because that's the time when a lot of people are traveling. During Thanksgiving, and because of your airport traffic, that's when you make most of your income. I couldn't possibly live like that. How could you live like that? I like a steady, clean stream of income. The guy with a steady stream of income is more fragile. He is more efficient, though. Let's give him what he's got. This guy, we just talked about the cons and why psychologically we don't want to do it. Okay. And this is, by the way, not telling you what to do or not do, or that who's right or wrong. It's just a reality of trade-offs and stuff like that. And this is just the first stream of income we're talking about. And the whole point of getting multiple streams of income is to get to versatility. So we kind of know that these two things are important. But this guy, the steady guy, and King Will, you say that the unstable guy is more fragile, but no. And let's talk about why this guy is more fragile first, and then we'll see why the kind of life this guy lives that makes him actually more robust. Okay. Now, this guy, he just loses. He has one thing has to go wrong, which is he loses the job. In other words, it's like this stool here. It's great. It's efficient. This is one stream. Boom. It comes in every 2 weeks. It's direct deposited. I don't have to think about it. I can plan for months ahead. I'm not talking about airport season and this season, and the ski season and the wine country season, and switching from limos to this and that and the other. Okay. Yes, very efficient, very steady. We call it stable, but it's only got three. You knock out one leg, it's done. This guy knows how to maneuver all year round. He knows when his money is coming in. He knows how to set up his business credit and so on and so forth in order to account for these kinds of things. He knows how to switch. Again, he's redundant and versatile, right? He's got some redundancies. So maybe his limos are lying dormant during the off season for wine country or whatever, but he polishes those limos and brings them out, and he makes a bank during that season. He puts them away, and when it's time for airport season, he's got his cabs there, and then it goes back again. If something shakes up, he knows this lifestyle here has the adaptation. It's very much like an ecosystem. Okay, it's decentralized. Things are coming from different places. There's a lot of learning going on. Okay, things are not smooth. Things are constantly shaky, just like your life. There are ups and there are downs, and there are this and there are that. But as a result of that, you're more versatile and you are more. And let me get a one if this makes sense, or if it's still unclear as to why this guy is actually less fragile than this guy. In other words, the steady paycheck guy, yes, within any particular block of time, he is steady and stable, but do not mistake stability for anti-fragility or robustness. Okay. It's efficient, very efficient over here. This guy deals with booms and busts and maneuvers and dances on ice, and then he dances on grass, and then he dances on the floor. He's a versatile dancer, okay? And he's juggling all kinds of plates. Some wasted energy going on, okay? But the steady guy is very efficient, no wasted energy, steady paycheck, stable, but all you got to do is knock out the job. And then it goes from 200 to 0, right? Just talking about his income now. We're not talking about their investments and all that kind of stuff. We're just comparing both their income. Mr. CEO guy here he gives himself 200,000. This guy here gets 200,000. And when we're just thinking about, and this point mainly goes to illustrate how these three things come together. Okay, that versatility versus efficiency. You lane more on one, know that you're not optimizing for the other. And this is the beginning, or one reason besides the pure economic and financial aspect, this is one reason why you should then start looking at balancing. This guy, okay, should be looking at getting into this kind of a game. This guy with his steady paycheck, and King Will says, makes sense. Thank you very much, sir. I see other ones as well. Blue cash quadrant theory out of the waste, out of the water. Cash quadrant. Um, is that Robert Kiyosaki? So, point is this: you want to now get into a second stream of income. You want to get out of this particular kind of one track steady deal. Okay. You want to get into this as well. But here's what I would say you should maximize for when you're trying to get your second stream. When you're trying to get your second stream, quite counterintuitively, I would say maximize for efficiency. What do I mean by this? I mean that if you are a carpenter and you work for a large carpentry, you guys build strip malls. Okay, there's this construction company that builds strip malls. You're a carpenter for that, so they do commercial stuff. I'm saying that you have a steady paycheck, yes, sure, and you're playing this game. Okay, when you want to get into this game, which is the second stream of income, which is a business, still think about efficiency, because what I'm asking you to do is to go to your toolbox, which is carpentry, and use that to start your business. In other words, start your own carpentry business. Don't go and say, I'm going to do carpentry in during the day and then I'm going to do multi-level marketing at night. Not very efficient. Not very efficient. Okay? Go do residential carpentry at night and weekends or whatever. You're focused, okay? You're efficient. So this one says stay in same lane. Okay, so in this case, there is an aspect of it. So you've gotten into the boom and bust market, okay, but you're doing it also with one leg with inefficiency and some fragility. It's fragile, obviously, because the construction industry connects both of your streams of income. So if something happens to the construction industry, you have the tide going down on all fronts. Okay, so that is the loss in robustness or anti-fragility that you get. In other words, you get fragile, okay, when you are focusing on your carpentry thing, but it is worth it because of the maximal returns you can get. You already have a lot of experience as a carpenter. You have the connections. Obviously, you've made the decision that you're going to start this business. So you know a thing or two and you have the mindset ready. So you just drill down further. You drill down and you drill for more oil at the same spot rather than taking your equipment, moving it, setting up shop elsewhere so that you can build your drill to start drilling somewhere else. You're already drilling down into this carpentry deal. Keep drilling down there. Stay efficient with your second stream of income. Okay? Yes. Do residential carpentry. Do engineering. Okay, get the certifications. First thing to invest in is to invest in yourself. You're making this money, okay? Invest in yourself, okay? You're investing in yourself in order to get certifications and so on and so forth. You're investing in yourself for marketing reasons. You're investing in yourself in order to put yourself in the right places with the right kinds of people. You go into different kinds of galas or whatever, or joining associations of HVAC people or whatever who may need carpenters here and there. You are joining homeowners associations or whatever, things like that, where you can hear about people's needs for carpentry. So you're investing in yourself. You're investing in yourself and you're investing in the business. And then you get into the same line and you can get very, very efficient, very quick. Overall, time favors versatility, but in short bursts, a short burst of efficiency, 2 years after you start this business, you're going to be matching your steady gig pay. In other words, You're over there making the 200K. You are now ready. Okay, you're ready to go on your own. You got the connections, you've got the certifications, you've invested in yourself with this 200K a year, year after year. Boom, you start the business. 3 years into it, you should be able to make another 200K by maximizing and staying on this efficiency side. But you got one leg in the boom and the bust, so now you're a little bit more versatile. Okay, so you now get to experience, and also the main thing here is adapt. In other words, the learning. The reason why this guy is not so fragile is because he is a different animal living in a different world. He learns, he expects the boom and the bust. It becomes a different creature. It becomes a different system. Okay? It's a system where there's disorder. It's optimized for disorder. It actually wants disorder. Okay? That way it can learn to juggle, right? You now have your toe in this area and you begin to develop the aspects of anti-fragility, in other words, things that benefit from disorder, things that benefit from randomness, and how we learn, use it or lose it, what doesn't kill you make you stronger, the reason your grandma is wise is because she's seen a lot of things, that whole thing. Okay, the disorder is really where the money is where the wisdom is where the learning is at. If everything is just serene and shipped in a nice cozy container like fragile champagne flutes, complex systems actually die. Complex systems such as yourself, or the ecosystem, or economies, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you've gotten in there. Okay, and it's a fairly simple concept. It's a fairly simple concept, ladies and gentlemen. And Brandon Saunders says, find industries that need problems to be solved. There are always problems to be solved in whatever industry you're doing, in what you're currently in. One already presumes when we start talking about multiple streams of income that you already have one solid stream of income. And that's why we just kind of started out. Either you're this guy over here who just is a business guy, maybe he's a blue collar guy that started his company already and is already in the world of versatility and redundancy, maybe not so efficient, but decentralized and adapts and so on and so forth, and learns from disorder. Or you are over here and you have your set of skills that you need. If you're in there already, there are problems that need solving in whatever industry you're in right now. You may be in the laundry industry on this side of the aisle, in the business side of the aisle. There are problems that need to be solved. Or you may be working as a restaurant manager or what in marketing, whatever it may be. If you're any good in that area, which presumably you are, that's why you chose to do all that stuff. One assumes you already have certain ducks in a row and you're not just out there going buck wild and crazy. You're doing things in a way that makes sense. Now, drill into the same spot, maximize your efficiency when you try to get into the land of booms and busts, the land of you kill what you eat, the land of entrepreneurship, the land of versatility, adaptation, redundancies, but not very efficient, that land. Okay? Not very efficient, but it's not fragile. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, let me just see if I can read anything over here. Nicer says, fail fast, fail frequently. Yes, that is the idea, to fail fast, to fail frequently. The failing and the learning and the reiteration is the main point, not necessarily the thinking, not necessarily the business plan. There is no business plan that fails on paper. Business plans or dreams and delusions always succeed in your head or on paper. It's no less a dream or a delusion just because you wrote it down. They always work. It doesn't matter. But when you go and start doing it, that's when you're going to find out what actually does work. Okay? Because you're not God, you're not some kind of oracle. You don't know what you're talking about until you get in on a bicycle and start riding. Right? So, big money growth says consulting slash getting into the next stream illuminates where you can play as a blue ocean. Gotcha. Gotcha. It's immediate market research against what can be solved with your existing skills. So true. Yes, you already got the inside scoop. You're already a good journeyman at your company that constructs strip malls. Okay, you got the tools, you got the know-how, you got certain kinds of network. You have developed yourself in terms of investing in your soft skills. Maybe you went to Toastmasters or something. You put some sweat equity into becoming good at marketing yourself, good at branding yourself, good at communicating with others and influencing them and taking their money from their pockets. And that's why you should go to Cash App. All right. Nicer is leaving the links. Nicer is leaving the links to the Cash App. Everything from 99 cents to whatever you may feel is definitely welcome. So basically, use the efficiency to get into the second stream. Now, there's the third stream. All right. And this is going to be a relatively short live stream, okay? Because it's heavy on the conceptual side. So don't want to make it too long because we're kind of introducing an idea. Antifragility is not something that this again comes from the book Antifragility or Antifragile, I believe it's called. But Nassim Nicholas Taleb wrote the book. He also wrote The Black Swan. Great author, great mathematician slash philosopher slash writer slash trader who made his FU money in Wall Street and then started writing books because he's got it like that. So anti-fragility is definitely a new concept. This dichotomy between versatility and efficiency and how they relate to being fragile or anti-fragile. Also, the main thing to think about here, and that you can think of anything within this kind of construct, but we're just talking about now jobs. So this third stream of income is when you now start getting into investments. Okay. And in there, you now get to play fully on both sides, where over here, maybe you have long, let's just talk about it in general. Real estate is always something that's going to end up, and this from here on, this is not some kind of this is nothing new, and it's not. I think from this point onwards, it's obvious. If you have gotten the second stream of income and you've gotten it to match your first stream, okay, if you're not paying yourself another $200,000 in addition to the $200,000 that you have for this other thing, in other words, you set up a business and now you're getting, if you've gotten there, the other streams of income, right, which we always hear about because there's a very popular statistic out there, a number, a data point that says that millionaires, I believe, have an average of 6 or 7, I don't know, but thereabouts streams of income. It may sound overwhelming. How do I get 6 streams of income? And some people may want to start delving into 6 things. No, that's not how it works. The first 2 are the most important. The rest just come along for the ride. Okay? Let me get a 1 in the chat if that makes sense. Okay? Again, streams of income here is being used as a means of exploring the dichotomy between versatility and efficiency and how these things relate with fragility. We introduced also the concept of anti-fragility, things that benefit from disorder. And they tend to be on the decentralized, versatile end of things. But we're talking now streams of income, and that the first 2 are the most important and the hardest to do, and that the rest are just going along for the ride. The rest are investments. The rest is your money working for you, your money and your expertise, and so on and so forth. Because if you have gone to the point where you're paying yourself 200K, matching the other 200K that you're bringing in, then people know you as a certain kind of person. They will come to you with opportunities. They will say, A, because they know you have some capital. Do you want to invest in this business, this business, this business? And you may have a friend or an associate or a colleague whom you know or whom you've always wanted to invest in terms of what they're doing. And boom, guess what now? Now you got this extra 200K and you're playing in this land of the volatility, the ups and the downs and stuff. So you've understood and you begin to adapt to that kind of lifestyle where you store away, make hay while the sun shines, and so on and so forth. You're going to have a nice storehouse, and then you're going to invest in your friend's business. Plus, obviously, you have your regular trading that goes on, to the extent to which you're taking it seriously, or if it's not just gambling and play money, right? So you have real estate, obviously, which real estate is almost a given, right? Real estate is a given, okay? Real estate is a given. But the first two are the hardest. Still, don't worry about, well, how do I get 6 streams of income? You need 2 streams of income. One, we already kind of know, we're well trained through the machinery to go get a 9 to 5. But you have to look at that particular set of skills with which you're getting a 9 to 5, not just hustle, but skills, actual skills in the white collar or the blue collar. Blue collar is a quicker path. Okay. Blue collar is a quicker path. That carpenter guy will start his business, if he's fast enough, quicker than some people, quicker than the college guy, or before the college guy graduates. Within the 4 years, the carpenter is already a journeyman and started his own business. And the college guy comes out fresh and still doesn't know anything, okay? So whether white or blue collar, whatever it may be, at the highest level, and you have full focus on it, and then you start getting the certifications in order to immediately, you start getting those certifications, and you start that LLC immediately, and you start doing carpenter work immediately on the weekends, right? Doesn't matter what it is. It always starts small and silly and something like that. But getting into the habit of the person who lives in this versatility land is what's key here, because those are the habits that generate more business, because you're going to get into the habit of hunting, okay, during the famine, and hunting and gathering and keeping and all that kind of stuff, because you're used to feasts and famines, ups and downs. You're versatile, not so efficient, but you're not fragile. As a matter of fact, you're anti-fragile in the sense that you benefit from disorder. Okay? Benefiting from disorder. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Black Curtis says hello, everyone. Oh, James Sandman. James Sandman says, Ike. He says, Ike, you have got a Cash App waiting. Well, thank you very much. Shout out to James Sandman. Oh, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Very generous. Do likewise, ladies and gentlemen, and go to the Cash App. Okay. And also, I'm going to open up. Here's a link. Open up the stream. Join in. Talk about streams of income. Let's talk about efficiency. Let's talk about versatility, fragility, anti-fragility. So I'm going to go through this, okay, looking at other things that we can talk about and what we can learn about, especially on this side of anti-fragility, because it is the side, because a lot of us just tend to think about safety, okay, but we end up with efficiency and fragility. We think it's actually safe. We tend to think that the steady job, for example, is actually safer, but it's just efficient, but it's very fragile, okay? So fine, there are many things in life whereby anti-fragility is the deal. Anti-fragility is what you want. Michael Graham says, new subby, thank you very much for subscribing. Very, 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 very much appreciated. Okay. So, again, questions, comments, concerns, conversations. We're going to open up the stream. The links are there. And then we go through this really quickly. And we can wrap up if there are no interlocutors. So, I said I wanted to talk about streams of income, but the streams of income part of it has 2 main takeaways, or let's just say 3. The 3 are, number 1, you need more money than you think. I can't emphasize that enough, and that it's number one for a particular reason. Yes, Taylor, my middle name is actually David. You need more money than you think. That's number one. Number two, the second stream of income should be adjacent to your first stream of income. Those are the hardest thing to do, which is number three, because the rest follows from there. But the second part here about the second stream of income being adjacent to your first stream of income optimizes for efficiency. But when you can quickly optimize, and within a time frame, a certain time frame, efficiency is great. You need to buttress and cover up your areas of efficiency with other things that are versatile and adaptive and protected. And one way to cover it up is only do it for a short period of time. You want to invest in yourself with this steady job, and then very as soon as possible hop into playing in this other land, but utilize efficiency to stay within the same lane. And you don't want to stay in that same lane for too long, even if you're just doing commercial um, carpentry work. You may start learning that, hey, you know what, there's a little bit more pay in being an electrician or an HVAC person. You start being a little bit more versatile with your personal business in order to offset this fragility, okay? The fragility that is implied by the fact that you are doing carpentry and you're doing construction and so on and so forth. So you can try to diversify it a little bit over here. But it is key that that second stream of income should be adjacent to your first stream. Otherwise, you're just burning efficient, because over here you need a lot of sweat equity in the beginning in order to start that second job. So you cannot afford to be inefficient. You don't have enough time in the day to become an expert at two things at this point. You need to drill down where you've already set up your rig. Don't go moving your rig into my second stream of income is, selling shirts on Instagram, but I haven't gotten, maybe I'm a coder in the morning. Well, why don't you take that coding thing and all the other related IT know-how that you know to start a business and drill down into that, because you're going to strike gold or you're going to strike oil a lot quicker than trying to go learn drop shipping or multi-level marketing or some other thing. And multi-level marketing is great if you're at the top of the pyramid. Those in the bottom of the pyramid scheme, in any pyramid scheme, and this is not an insult, it's just a pyramid scheme, but many things are pyramid schemes, you know. But if you're not on the top, you're not going to make it anyways. Look at the numbers of those who actually make it and those who do not. Great for networking if you're doing something else, if you actually have something to sell, after you have something to do, something to sell that is just not another, besides, unless you're selling just another multi-level marketing to the people in your multi-level marketing. So Brandon Sunders says, does the same principle apply for talents? And ladies and gentlemen, by the way, the stream is open so you can hop on and ask your question verbally. Just use the link. Use the link right here to StreamYard. So when it comes to the pursuit of talents, yes, of course. Here's what I would say about that. And it comes from the way I have lived my life. I tend to prefer to be on the adaptive side of things, on the redundant side of things, the jack of all trades side of things. But I fully know that I'm making a trade-off in the sense that I'm not going to be as good a singer and performer and musician as I could be if I only focused on that. I know that. Okay. So I know I'm good at the whole music and performance thing, the writing of the songs, the performing of the songs, blah, blah, blah. But I'm never going to be as good as I could be in that. if I just focused on it. The same thing with having a business or also trying to be a writer of some kind, which is something else I do, or liking to read a lot and then also being into sharing of ideas like making this YouTube channel. And yes, if you pick one talent and you drill down into it, you're going to be very efficient, but you're also going to be quite fragile. And the thing about it is this, since we're also talking about income, in order to make something that is exceptional out of one talent, you have to be like at the top 1% good in that particular one thing. Let me get a one in the chat if you guys understand what I'm saying. In order to make something out of one particular talent, just one talent, I'm going to pick this one thing. I'm going to pick golf. I'm going to pick soccer. I'm going to pick this, that, or the other. You're going to need to be top 1% at least in that particular thing. And then if you're talking like getting to the NBA, for example, something that's quite ridiculous, then the numbers just go crazy, right? However, what is more unique or what you can construct that is also quite unique, okay, is a stack of talents. Shout out to Scott Adams. He is the creator of Dilbert, okay? He is the creator of Dilbert, but basically a talent stack. So think about it this way. If you are at least top 20%, okay, let's say you're not a 1%er in anything. Okay, let's just say you're not a 1% intelligent, you're not 1% swag, 1% looks, money, status, whatever. You didn't were not born with a silver spoon. You're not 1% in anything, but you're at least 5% in one thing, right? Maybe there's something that you're particularly good at, you're 5% at that. Or maybe you're the top 10% at that. Okay. And then there are other things for which you're at the top 20%. So you're not very great at speaking, but you're an okay speaker. You're not very great at drawing, but you're an okay drawer. Okay. You're not very great at writing, but you can write quite well. And then let's say you're 5% on one particular thing. Maybe it's you're 5% in being organized. You're top 5%. So you're not top 5% in organization, but you also hone these other crafts. So now you start drawing this comic strip, and this is actually the story of Scott Adams, the creator of Dilbert, right? Not the best drawer, draws this comic strip, not the best writer, but he can write pretty fairly well, and then he can market fairly well. The stacking up of rather what you may call just a little bit above average talents is often just as unique as being a top 1%er in one talent. Okay. So let's say you take a Barack Obama, for example. Okay. That is another example of that kind of stacking of talents. Okay. Now, there were things where he was a 1%er, right? But those things were not going to be enough, right? Let's say his oratory, okay, when he's really working, when he's really sharp, okay. Let's say his oratory, that's his 1% thing, okay. He can get up there with the best of the preachers and he can move a crowd and he can do the whole thing. Again, when he's really focusing, right? That's his 1% thing. But there are many other things where he's just on the top 5%, maybe on the top 10%, maybe 20%, right? 20% in organization, 1% again in oratory, maybe another few other percent in the kind of marketing, and maybe top 5% in terms of intelligence. But you stack all these things together, and now you're going to be up there on the Mount Rushmores, if you will, with other people who just have one thing. Let's say they're a Nobel Prize physicist. Not that those guys tend to be one thing people, anyways. Those guys tend to, a lot of them also have other tricks up their sleeves. But you're going to be able to stand in rooms with people who are very exceptional at one thing if you simply take a few things where you're top 20% and maybe one thing where you get up to 5%, and then you use that one thing to tie it all together in a nice little wrap, make it aesthetically pleasing to the market, right? Trust me, right? So excellence across several things, yes, creates competitive advantage. That's what big money growth says. It's kind of obvious, right? So not a lot of people are stacking different things. in my particular area, there are not a lot of people who stack the sciences and the arts. There are not a lot of engineer singers out there who also like to do certain other things and public speaking and so on and so forth. So these were conscious things that I decided to stack, right? I'm never going to be as good of an engineer as I could be if I only just focused on that, right? And not focused on my public speaking, communication, selling aspect. Okay. So, but there are few people who can come in and do the engineering and can also give a kick ass presentation and can sell you something, so on and so forth, right? So, that's the idea. That is the idea. Hey, Ayo, yes, Ayo Adeoju in the house. Shout out, shout out, shout out. So that was a long-winded answer to the question about high. And Nicer says, I read comics, lol. Yeah, yeah, and I like anime. You know, I like everything. I like it all. I like it all. So James Saunders asked earlier, and I missed it. Says question, Ike, if I have almost 50% in expenses on my business, do I think it's still a solid business? That is okay. There are expenses, and then there are the expenses you're reporting or whatever. I would say it depends on how much you're making total. Okay, if you're making 500,000 and it's costing you 25,000 in expenses, well, then we can say, okay, perhaps it's worth it because it's shown its ability to generate money, but we need to look at what are the inefficiencies here. What are we spending money on that is not giving us the returns? Maybe in marketing department, for example. Maybe you're spending a lot of money on advertising, but you're not getting the returns that you need to get. Okay. But if it's not making a lot of money, if it's only making 500 bucks a year and 250 is expenses, then that's a totally different question, right? But a business, besides the fact of being big or small, has 1,000 other dimensions in which they vary, which bear upon the way in which this question should be answered. So I don't know if you want to join the stream and ask the question. Big money growth. Would you say that achieving versatility makes you more magnetic? Hmm. So I think you know the answer to that question. I think that I need to mention that I am biased, obviously, right? I'm biased. And I would say that we are attracted to, or we find it novel, therefore we pay attention to things where there's a juxtaposition or where there's an incongruency that is not normal, that does not just happen all the time. So in areas where there's a juxtaposition or an incongruency that is not normal or not something that happens all the time, we find it to be, let's say, attractive, right? And so, yes, if you find a particular chess master coder type, but also plays in the local philharmonic and is really, and he writes sheet music, that's going to be like more like, oh, yeah, well, that's a violin playing sheet music, writing tech guy. More interesting than the other tech guys over here. So, yeah. But, anyways, salute, salute. Can you please introduce yourself real quick and what you got for us, sir?
Yes, my name's Ayo, Diojo. Big fan of Ike. Found him through Kevin Samuel's channel and just had to reach out to him, and he's been creating some great content. I'm 23. I work in cybersecurity, and I guess one question I have is, how do you balance, I guess, that professional image with uh, the image of like starting your own business, right? So I had an idea of doing maybe some career consulting for those who want to get into cybersecurity. A lot of people ask me questions on how to get in,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like I have some insightful, uh, things to say about their resume or LinkedIn profile, but you know, I don't want to kind of have that. I kind of want things to be uniform in my proceedings on LinkedIn, right? Where I work at this company, I do this, but I also, give some advice, right? Paid advice, right? And how to kind of package that professionally,
Mm-hmm.
onto LinkedIn, because my peers, my coworkers will see that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then, you know, so that's kind
Yeah.
of the conflict I've been having, right? Because LinkedIn's the number one spot for this, uh, for me to get the clientele I'd like to get, but it's just that conflict of interest that I feel might arise if I proceed
Yeah.
with it.
Well, first of all, let me acknowledge that this conflict of interest or the perception of a conflict of interest arises in the minds of all of us, right? So
Mhm.
it's quite normal. And then I will proceed to add something else, which is also a little still on the intuition land, a little bit of intuitive, a little bit counterintuitive, which, yes, your coworkers will notice, but they don't really care. Okay. So now you have to ask practical questions on, let's say, conflict of interest on a legal, from a legal perspective, right?
Yes.
In other words,
Yes.
whom will actually care from that perspective? Because that's all there is to it, in the sense that people are living their lives, okay?
Yeah.
They have all kinds of shit going on, as we all know,
Okay.
okay? Everything from being overweight to being sexually frustrated to being to whatever it may be.
That's
And
true.
trust me, the least worry they have is what, oh, this guy does something else. It's It'll be 5 minutes when they see it, and for those that do see it, okay, 5 minutes of like, oh, interesting, blah blah. Oh, it's still in the same, whatever, and the interest just goes away, and now they're back looking at Instagram.
That's true.
Okay,
Okay.
so that is on the intuition side of things. Where we're just saying, just think anecdotally. Da, ba, 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 ba. We don't really think that it's not really what you're making it out to be. However, there is the legal thing, right? But most times that's not an issue, right?
Hmm.
Depending on whom you're working for. If you're working for Apple, I know that they make you sign your life away and you can't talk to anybody really or be seen in public ever again, right? So it depends on that. And I would just leave it at that. And the easiest way to take care of that is to just ask, right?
Okay.
The legal department is there for a reason, or if it's obviously written on the first page of whatever you sign, then obviously that's obvious, right? But you go
Hmm.
and ask, like, hey, am I allowed to practice this? Am I allowed to use this license in this state in this particular way? And they will give
Hmm.
you a great answer, right?
Okay.
And boom, then you can put it in a very public facing realm like LinkedIn. Otherwise, it may just be a website and a card. For example, if you're not comfortable still, right, with with LinkedIn, which is like, okay, I want to keep my LinkedIn my 9 to 5. Then you're gonna need a website that then maybe you link from other social media that is not so professional. Let's say you have a website and you have a Facebook page where you also link that website through and say, yeah, boom, here's my card. It's got the Facebook and it's got my website, that kind of thing. So you're still out there in cyberspace, but you don't have to put it on LinkedIn. But the first point is really important, though, which is everybody feels it, but you should know you're not that important in the mind of other people.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Ike. This was kind of the biggest thing in my mind, but yeah, most people, it's a busy job anyway. That's the last thing anyone would want to do, hopping off a ship.
So
It's
how
okay.
long have you been working for those who may benefit? How long have you been working in your cybersecurity, right?
Yes, yes. I'm a system security specialist. I've been working. It's a big four firm. a week. I started Monday actually. I started Monday, and it seems like I'll be working more than 40 hours a week. That's the kind of vibe I'm getting.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
That we're dealing with different clients on call. It's tech, of course, so it definitely isn't an environment that is fit for 9 to 5. They definitely seem to do like hiring younger people, of
Mm.
course.
Mm.
So yeah, it's going well.
So you
It's going
actually
all right.
go to an office?
I'm actually working from home, so I'm in Canada right now, and the big work from home order right now. So I actually started from home. Yeah, they sent the laptop and everything.
Gotcha. So is this so speaking of streams of income, I might as well ask, is that
Mhm.
something that you're looking into, and what is your plan to and congratulations on the job. What is your
Thank
plan
you.
in terms of adding a stream of income? What do you think about the whole idea of efficiency staying on that side versus versatility and anti-fragility and fragility, whatever? What's your plan?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I did just join, by the way. So I wasn't able to kind of
Okay,
get
gotcha.
understanding of what was written, but I guess to best answer that, I had a plan to kind of really learn about this job and just really do well and be a subject matter expert in certain technologies.
Mm-hmm.
But my plan was really that, and as soon as I got the position, a lot of people reached out to me saying like, I also applied, or I'm interested in getting into this field. Um, and I started noticing a trend of
Hmm.
just people that, and I mean this respectfully, are a little bit ignorant about
Hmm.
what it really takes to be in the field. You know, it starts, and it starts from such a low level of just even how your LinkedIn's presented and how your resume is presented, even how you compose yourself, because the attitude in this type of job is very important. I think it's more important than actual skill set, because
Hmm.
they want you to be trainable, right? They just care if you can
Okay.
learn quickly. So, you know, past experience helps, but they want to be able to rely on you because, we're dealing with some pretty needy clients, of course. We have service level agreements. Um, so, they always ask me like, what can I do to be a better candidate for this company? And I
Hmm.
realized that, that's the kind of backwards way to think of things. I got this position because it was a great fit for me, right? And then that's what made the union so good, right? That I have what they need, and they have an opportunity for me to grow. It's great, right?
Hmm.
So that's what I found. I also found a gap in, um, I mean, there's not much females in my industry, especially cybersecurity. So
Hmm.
they're a little bit shy, of course, since it's a male-dominated field. Like me reaching out to other men in the field, I'm a lot more open to do that. Like, hey John, or hey Jeff, can I? But I feel like women might be a little bit intimidated because it seems like a boys' club from the outside in.
Hmm.
So I also wanted to help them, feel a little bit more confident and motivated. That's what I see they're kind of lacking, the motivation to really. I see a lot of like self sabotage sometimes of just, when you don't try to do things,
Hmm.
just like you already fail so that you don't really fail,
I see. Yeah.
right? So I see that a lot. So that was kind of the plan. Charging an hourly fee, charging packages where we work on your LinkedIn, we work on your resume, we work on your interview skills, so that who your experience and who you are is congruent online, in person, on your resume. It's everything just flows. They look on your resume, they talk to you, everything just makes sense. There's more
Hmm.
consistency, and really wowing the interviews, right? So yeah, but I feel like people are really kind of jumping past that soft skill. So sorry we're going on, but that was really a plan that I feel like I could offer. Um, and yeah,
Okay.
that was the main thing. Yeah, that
So
was
you
the
want to
main
make
one.
you're seeing a demand for this. You think you can make it a business. There's a emphasis on soft skill that needs to be emphasis from an importance point of view, but that needs to be emphasized in terms of people's knowledge and actually putting it through. That needs to be
Yes.
emphasized, and you think that you can bring value in that regard. You talk about wowing the interviewers. You just got this job recently, so what would you what tip would you let we're getting a free session here from you, and you're advertising your so how did you wow these particular interviewers?
Yeah. So the first thing really was that you told me this, and I really appreciate you telling me this, Ike. But my job before getting this job was to look for a job.
Hmm.
right? So that mindset really shifted how I looked at things. I went into work mode. I was working full time to get a job. So I had about 2 interviews, right? And I learned a lot about there's a lot of fear going into interviews that I see people have. And, you know, I kind of define fear differently through this, that fear is just the fear of the unknown, right? And lack of confidence. Because there's not much, you can't be afraid of what you know. Even if it's bad, you know it. So you can't really be afraid because
Mm-hmm.
you know what to do, right? You're best prepared to deal with the situation, you know? But so I had a lot of fear going into this interview. And what I did was I literally made a document of questions they would ask me. I did a
Mm.
lot of research on the company. Um, and I treated it like a test almost. Like what is they need networking skills? Okay, so everything I learned about networking, I'm gonna bring it up. I'm gonna
Mm.
have a document and write it down. Okay, what layers of networking? Okay, they're gonna ask me they're gonna ask me some questions about these tools, right? Let me learn the ins and outs of these tools, right? And practice it. That's the big thing too, practicing it before the interview so that when I do speak with them, it flows naturally. It's almost like there's no doubt that I'm competent in
So
what they're
you're
asking
treating it
me.
like a tough exam, like the way you study when you know you had that hard whatever class coming up, and
Yep,
not just
100%.
skimming through. You're like, oh no, I gotta really, really know it. No, that's good. That's good. That's very,
Yes,
very good. Okay,
yes. Like
go on.
I guess the goal is, and one thing too about interviews, specifically technical ones, is that some questions are designed to not have an answer, but they want to see how you find the answer or how you troubleshoot things.
Hmm.
It's almost most jobs in IT, software development, anywhere, almost 50% of the job function is troubleshooting. All
Hmm.
right. So saying answers, they if they ask you, oh, if you don't know the answer, what do you do, right? You can say I'm gonna search it up on Google,
Hmm.
right? They really like that answer because they know that okay, you're trying to be resourceful. Like
Yeah.
I had them tell me that no one said that answer. No one says that. People just say they don't know. But Google, yeah, we use Google all the time. That's awesome, right? So just keeping it. It's one of the simplest answers, right? Search it up on the internet. You don't know it, so just search it up. So, um, yeah, I guess to my point, yes, treating it like an exam, really treating it like a business interview almost of a negotiation where they have some requirements and you sell yourself. It's a sales pitch.
Okay.
So you should have you should have tell me about yourself ready to go.
Hmm.
It should
So
be
you practice
memorized.
it. You memorize. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it
There
should
you
be
go.
ready to go. So that's
Tell
the
them.
one thing I
Tell them.
I
Yeah.
practice. My name is this. I have experience in the fields. My last role, I did this, working with this and that. So I guess a little freebie. Who you are, the industries you've worked in, and what you've done. They really like it, different industries. You know, to show that you can handle different environments. Okay, I work in pharmaceuticals, industrial components, government. Like they really like that. And then your last role that you did. So my last role was doing application security research with this company. We focus on this, and these are the results we came to. Right. So quantifying your results too, they really like that as well.
Mm.
In any way, numbers are really important. So just having that down, and then yeah, I guess that's all I can have for now because there's different approaches I had to technical interviews and behavioral interviews as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
You mentioned that you treated getting a job as your job. So when you focused on it in that way, and also now you brought the whole exam and school aspect into it. Okay, so now you got the job, and then you have this other plan. Well, okay. What is your next side job? What is this other thing that you're not treating like a job in order to take the next step?
Oh, the other thing that I'm not treating like a job that I need to start treating it like, or
Yeah, have you started treating something else like a job, or besides your job? Because the
Mhm.
idea you should have one other thing that you treat like a job in order
Yes.
for it to actually make it happen. And you saw getting a job when you treated it like as though it was a job, you made it happen. So there are other things you're trying to do. You because you mentioned this other stream of income, this other possible thing, and so on and so forth. Those things and I'm not answering your question, but just to clarify what my question is. So that is what I'm
Mhm.
asking. What else are you now either treating like a job right now or looking to?
I'm looking to treat this kind of career coaching as a job. And really like first it's my first week on the job, right? So I kind of just like
Mhm.
opened my schedule, but now really just finding time and having defined goals, right? So like, this day I'm gonna work on. I know we talked about this as well of like time tracking and even putting what you're gonna do in that time block, right? So today, for example, I had okay, I worked out in a bit in the morning,
Mhm.
and I said I'm gonna work on. I have it here. I'm gonna work on. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna work on the marketing plan. I'm gonna brainstorm, and I'm gonna see how I can generate leads. That's what I was working on, right? So, um, I know some of your other streams you talked about, like, it was a pyramid you had where water, sleep was important, and then the next step. So I found that okay, sometimes I write things down in a book. I just jot things down. I just draw, different type of mind maps. I can type things out. Maybe I have a standing desk, so just changing things up a bit.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that's kind of what I treat. I want to treat as a job.
Gotcha. So you're using all the tricks, huh?
I'm trying to. I'm trying to. There's a lot. I always try to catch you when I can on YouTube because I know it's great content.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Yeah. So I'm gonna just, as you said, I'm gonna share my screen on something here, and thank you very much, Ayo. Did you have anything to add?
Oh no, no, no! That would be always a pleasure. Being here and looking forward to viewing.
Gotcha, gotcha. All right, man. Well, I'm going to put you in the background here and then share my screen on something as we
Right.
continue. If
Okay.
I know how to do this, boom, there we go. And ladies and gentlemen, share. So, yeah, basically, the idea is Saturday, Sunday, it doesn't matter what the day is and doesn't matter what you're doing. Like over here, it says stream. Okay, I'm streaming. Okay, till 2. We're almost done. And then I got things to do all the way till at least 9:30. And no matter what it is, you want to throw it in a calendar. The calendar is not your enemy, and the calendar is not a tyrant. Okay, in the sense that things are going to take longer than you think. But one very important reason why you want to put things in the calendar is so that you can actually know how long things take, right? Because a lot of times we don't have that knowledge. We do not have that information. We do not actually know how long things take. So, okay, we make the mistake of not being able to plan when we leave things off to the last minute. So by putting things down on the calendar and saying, "Hey, you know what? It's going to take me 2 hours to do this task." And then you find out every time it's a 3-hour task, you're going to fine tune your information, okay? And without putting things in the calendar, okay? Without putting things in the calendar, you're not going to be able to get that information. But the calendar is not a tyrant. It's not supposed to beat you up. Okay. It's supposed to be used as information and a way of adjusting and so on and so forth. So, ladies and gentlemen, if no one else is joining the stream, which is still open, okay, if no one else is joining, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up. Wrapping things up by going over one more time the concepts which we elaborated on, touched upon, and elaborated, elucidated in today's stream. And then we will go out with, we will go out with our usual theme song. So basically, today we talked about streams of income, but vis-a-vis the dichotomy between versatility over here, and efficiency, and how they intersect with fragility. We introduced the concept of anti-fragility. What is anti-fragility? Anti-fragility has to do or is the property of a system actually wanting disorder. The system that actually wants to get beat around is anti-fragile. Okay, we said a fragile thing like champagne flutes don't want randomness. They don't want to be beat around, so on and so forth. And then something that is robust, which is the zero of this fragility scale, let's say, like a ton of bricks. If you abuse it, it's fine. If you don't abuse it, it's fine. And then there are things that are anti-fragile in the sense that if you don't abuse them, they die, like your muscles, like your immune system, like your psyche. You need challenges, you need perturbation, you need randomness, you need chaos in order for these things to actually grow, develop. Most decentralized systems are that way. However, these things interplay with with fragility in this way. Okay? Efficiency is fragile. Versatility tends to correlate with anti-fragility, but versatility is not efficient, right? So a decentralized system, like, okay, a system of many different states, okay, a system of many different states, a system of distributed information such as the marketplace where each individual and entity is trying to make the best decisions based on the price signal that they're getting and the information that they have. Okay. That kind of a system is more anti-fragile. It's hard to kill, but it's not very efficient. A more efficient system would be a one strong man rule, right? You have the CCP, you have the God King over here, the king in his robes. Okay. That is a more efficient system. Okay, decisions get made and things happen. Decisions get made, it's easily implemented, but it is very fragile because it's got one head. You cut off his head and it's done. Okay, you cut off the head of the CCP in China and it's done. But it is a very efficient economy. Okay, over here, we need to work, we have a more inefficient system. When we shoot for efficiency, okay, we become fragile. Take, for example, the fact that we depend so much on China for certain products. Okay, we depend so much on China. It's very efficient. Like, you know what? We'll just do the brain trust thing over here and the ownership and the money thing. We will pay those people over there where it's really cheap. We'll use the minimal amount of resources and then we will get it back here. Everything is very clean. Everything is very efficient. Okay, they win, we win, blah, blah, blah. We only have a stool with 3 legs. Very simple. But once you cut off that one leg, you're done. Something happens with China as it did in the beginnings of the COVID deal. Then you find that having this efficient system, which relies too much on one thing, as opposed to something that has redundancies and is versatile, like if we actually did a lot of the manufacturing, let's say, of our pharmaceuticals here rather than over there, we would not have had certain issues. And it's not just the pharmaceuticals that we don't manufacture here, we don't manufacture anything over here. So that kind of a thing. Shooting for efficiency, when you get tested, when you get hit with randomness, okay, boom, that's when you're going to realize the fragility of your efficient system. Okay, so we talk about streams of income. We talk about randomness in streams of income. These two people average 200K a year. One has a steady job, straight flat line on that income. This other guy has the taxi business and he goes with seasons. He makes 75% of his money in the fall during wine country season or something, or airport season, whatever it is, right? He has to bob and weave and change things and deploy limos to wine country one time of the year and then deploy taxis to airports another time of the year, so on and so forth. He has the lifestyle of redundancy, adaptability, not super efficient like the guy with the steady job, but the guy with the steady job is also more fragile. Hence, the quicker he needs to realize he needs to jump and start playing the versatile game, the more random game, the game that benefits from randomness, the game that benefits from perturbation, which the universe will throw at you anyways. So it's not like we're wondering, will any random thing happen? Will 2020 ever happen? Will there be a pandemic? Will there be a this? Will there be a that? Will 90? These things always happen. Okay? A monkey wrench in the system is guaranteed. Okay? It's coming your way. So you cannot be maximally efficient because you're too fragile and you're going to fall apart when that randomness comes around. What you want to do is cultivate a system that is actually anti-fragile, not just robust, not just like a ton of bricks that doesn't care whether you hit it or not, but something that actually grows stronger when you hit it. again, like your muscles, like your immune system, like your psyche, like evolution, complex systems, decentralized systems, right? Those things, not so efficient, but you can't kill them. You hit them, they get stronger. Cut off the head of one hydra, it grows two back, right? That kind of one of the heads of a hydra, I should say, multi-headed hydra. So that's kind of the idea here. But when you're over here in multi-headed hydra land, you're very anti-fragile, but you're not very efficient. So be careful when you try to go for efficiency in the sense that what you're getting is fragility. And then when you try to go for anti-fragility, you're losing some efficiency. Now you got to know how to balance this. This is a simple kind of trifecta: versatility, efficiency, and how they intersect with fragility. And we introduced this concept of anti-fragility, which shout out to Nassim Taleb in his book called Antifragility. Go ahead and check that book out. Then we talked about the streams of income, which I've already begun to introduce with the two examples, right? This guy over here with a steady job and the other guy. All right. And then we start saying, you know what, when you're going for that second stream of income, which is the most important thing, because the other 4 and 5 or whatever just kind of happen. Those are just kind of take care of themselves. The first 2 streams are the hardest. You're growing up and learning how to, wipe your butt and all that stuff for 18, 19, 20, 25 years in order to just begin to get that first stream and become useful. And then you need to develop that stuff and build out the rigging by getting the certifications and so on and so forth, so you can continue to drill down and you focus on efficiency when you start to step into this other realm. In other words, building a business that is adjacent to your particular skill so that you're not having to turn your head from one thing into another thing and being very inefficient, because the second stream of income will require a lot of sweat equity and a lot of time, and you cannot avoid a lot of waste. Hence, you want to go for the efficiency path, but you don't want to stay there too long. You want to be able to generate the excess that puts you in the third stream of income, generally speaking, which has to do with investments, real estate, so on and so forth. So now you're kind of more diversified, and you're going to start immediately. You start a second stream of income. You're going to start learning the habits of anti-fragility land, the habits of the boom and bust land, the habits of when you kick me, I get stronger. Okay, that land. That's what you're going to be benefiting from by getting into that. Besides the fact that you also need more money than you think, and that's why you're looking for these streams of income anyways. We're talking about income after all, right? It's always just a foregone conclusion. We're not even going to mention why we're talking about income. Okay, we know we need more money. I don't care how much money you have, you need more. That's just that simple. Has nothing to do with greed, or maybe you're a greedy bastard. It doesn't even matter whether you're greedy or not. You just need more money. Okay, so point is, this is streams of income viewed vis-a-vis this lens. Okay, nice simple stream today, nothing too heavy. Just think, am I being versatile or am I being efficient? And when I'm being efficient, I need to worry, I need to watch my rear, I need to watch, because efficiency, okay, is a little fragile. Okay, versatility, not very efficient, but over time, if there's a last statement to be made, a final overture, if you will, okay, over time, versatility is preferred. Versatility is how evolution happens. Redundancy is the biological map. You have 2 lungs, you only need 1 though. 2 kidneys, you only need 1 though, right? It knows. It's like it's made too many mistakes. Whereas that, oh, 1 kidney, 1 lung gone. That's. So okay, basically, the land of versatility over the long haul wins. The land of versatility over the long haul wins. The land of efficiency is needed, though, for those quick gains and for those gains that make sense, such as getting your second stream of income when you're already well certified in your first, which you should be doing anyways. That's where you should want to do that. But understand that efficiency is fragile, something that is not quite often thought about. Oh, I'm just going to go to the cheapest place and make all my goods. If you visit, for example, America, going to China to make all that stuff. Great, efficient, cheap, but fragile. Okay? Let's make it in 1,000 different places and different people compete and so on and so forth. And it's not very efficient. There's no unity of command, this, that, and the other. But try to kill that kind of a system. It doesn't die. It just learns, grows, adapts, shifts. Okay? So this is the lane that you want to keep your eyes on for the long term. And then on this lane, you want to keep your eyes for the short term, and always forever watching the relationship to how fragile you are at any point in time. So let's keep on fighting the battle within, ladies and gentlemen. Again, thank you very much. All right, let me check real quick. Thanks to James Sandman for the Cash App. And keep fighting the battle within.
On the shore, relentless in the war, the legions in our hearts, shed waters in our balls, the spirit and the flesh, the emotions that arrest, the cerebral will contest, propelling the unrest. Preachers and bandits with means underhanded, the teachers pedantic and lack understanding. So sweep out the sand with the broom in your hand, stand up, make we burn Babylon. Guess I can give the world to you, but the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you lurking, demon searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. Cause I can give the world to you, but the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demon searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. With the semblance of a blaze, with gratitude and rage, we touch another page with delirious delight, impervious to light. This vitality and might encourages the flight. Preachers and bandits with means underhanded, the teachers pedantic and lack understanding. So sweep out the sand with the broom in your hand, stand up, make we burn Babylon. Guess I can give the world to you, but the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demon searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. Guess I can give the world to you, but the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demon searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. But the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demon searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. Cause I can give the world to you, but the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demon searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within.